Hello ladies and gentlemen, Excentoro here and welcome back to another video. Now I hope all of you are doing well because I am as always, and in this video we'll be comparing the new E175 in infinite flight to the even newer E190, which literally came to infinite flight like 5 days ago. So this comparison is going to be crazy. Now before we start, I'd like to let you all be aware that the clothing store, if it loads, is it's currently live. There's links in the description and I'm in the process of like linking it all to the channel and everything. So here's just a quick view of some of the stuff in the store. But yeah, if you want, there's a link right down below in the description, and maybe in the comment section if I remember. Now I literally also spent like half an hour trying to get infinite flight to work today, so it might crash at any point, and if it does, it's not my point. Actually, I'll close the store and hopefully that will help with lag. Right, so the E175 in infinite flight came in October. Which is not too long ago now. I'm also ill, so it doesn't make it ideal for recording videos. And the aircraft has a maximum capacity of about 80 passengers, which is kind of crazy. That's a lot of people, 80 people, 78 people, and that's his maximum capacity, which is quite large. Now it's obvious that the E190 is going to beat the E175 in pretty much every category, from like thrust, maximum range, capacity and seats, cruise speed, pretty much all of them. I expect the E190 to beat the E175. Now I think in terms of hype of the aircraft and coming to the mobile flight simulator, the E175 quite clearly had a lot more hype. And let's have a look inside of this aircraft. Let's go through the back, shall we? Now of course we've got here the back of the aircraft. Wow, what a surprise. And just looking down it, the interior of this metal tube is literally phenomenal. So let's just come up here and just, we're going to slowly turn it. There we go. We are lagging. Now, the aircraft itself looks really good from the inside. You know, the seats look good and everything about them look great. So that is a really big bonus. So we got some good looking seats on the aircraft, etc. Now we're going to try and find the opening door. There we go. And let's have a look at this cockpit. Now, you can't really compare the cockpits in the E190 and the E175 because you'll be able to tell that they're pretty much the same cockpit, just used twice. Now obviously that's what's expected. They're literally the same aircraft in themselves. There shouldn't be much different. Maybe one of them will have like a little Easter egg in the cockpit or something, which might get away, which someone may or may have not found yet. I don't see any Easter eggs in here, from what I can tell. I mean, we got the fire axe and the fire extinguisher in that, you know, for when the aircraft is definitely going to catch fire. But the aircraft itself here, it's looking very good, you know, it's looking like a very good cockpit. Now the E175 here has a wingspan of 26 meters, which isn't actually that far, actually, 26 meters. It's only, you know, it's not too bad. It's quite a small aircraft. It's only got a length again of 31 meters. So it's a really, really small aircraft, this one, in comparison to normal engines, and each engine can produce a thrust of 63 kilonewtons, which I thought was quite interesting when I looked up that fact earlier. So here we have the E175. Now, fun fact, in infinite flight, I could only find KLM being the only aircraft on both the E175 and the E190. And also, I've lost the other two Embraer jets. Like, I cannot find them under the Embraer. So it looks like infinite flight have actually permanently removed the E195 and the E170. So that's a fun fact if you're just interested. Right, there we have the KLM City Hopper. So now we're on the E190, and this aircraft, like I said, came out on like the 7th of December or something, very, very early on. And not even too long ago. Now infinite flight's been taking a while to load in the aircraft today, so I wouldn't be surprised if it takes like half an hour to load in. Hopefully it won't. It's said all downloaded. Hopefully it'll just load us straight in. Now the E190 can sit up to 20 more passengers, even though it's 5 meters longer than the E175. So these aircraft are pretty much crammed together. Like, people in these aircraft get really tight and really come together in the seats. But I'm hoping the interior of this aircraft, I'm thinking it's going to be better than the one on that E175, which we literally saw a second ago. So is infinite flight going to load? Because it's been really annoying today. There we go. That's so nice. The gods have answered. Now look at this aircraft. Now you can tell here already it's definitely longer. It definitely looks longer than the E175. I mean, the wingspans don't really look much wider, but in terms of aircraft, they're all good. And let's just quickly load up. So we're just going to auto start because I'm lazy. And like you can tell, the cockpits are the same. There is no different in these cockpits. So I'm going to have to shut down the engines to even connect anything, which is kind of annoying. It's kind of stupid on my behalf. So let's just go straight into the aircraft then, shall we? And kapoof. It's the same cabin as the E175, but I'm pretty sure the seats are like a darker colour. The seats just look a bit darker in this aircraft. It might be me being stupid, but I think the seats definitely look a tiny bit better in this little E190. And in general, I do think the aircraft is a little bit better than the E175 in terms of the interior, even though the aircraft's larger and it does actually, funny enough, look a little bit uglier. Okay, but let's take this aircraft out for a spin. I think we should see how well this aircraft actually lands and flies. So we're going to do calibrate up, and let's just lock that in and go on to the short final here. So we're going to try and land both these aircraft like, I want to say normally, just without the HUD. And we're going to see how hard it is. So I'm just going to check there. Yeah, we are coming in nice and strong. I'm just going to, oh, I've messed up a little bit here. We're going to have to try and tilt up just a little bit. This just means that we're going to, a bit of a nicer landing there. Are we floating? We're floating. We're floating. Oh, we've touched the ground. We've touched the ground. And down we go. Okay, so that was the first landing. I think that felt like a good landing, you know. It felt like a rather easy landing. Let's see how easy it is to take off now if we're doing like an aborted last minute change. We're going to ramp up the speed. You want to get up to about like 140-ish, a little bit less, and we can probably rotate now. Oh, that is a really good rotation there. I felt on the E175, E190 here, and it's actually quite a nice and quite an easy aircraft to handle. Now, let's have a cheeky look at that replay. Fingers, unless it doesn't load, then we'll just go into the E175 and give that aircraft a quick little landing test. So hopefully the replay won't take long to land, otherwise we're going to have to restart the whole of Infinite Flight. And that's going to be very long. And I do not want to be doing that today. Now, I think, yeah, definitely the E190 was a nice aircraft to be landing there. But we're going to see what the E175 feels like. And I cannot be bothered today to wait for Infinite Flight. It's messing about. I'm going to probably have to get a new iPad because for some reason Infinite Flight just breaks all of the time on my iPad, and it's getting a little bit frustrating for me because I don't have time for this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a quick break, and I'm going to snap back to you guys when I'm in that E175 in about half an hour. Okay, here we are, finally back in the simulator. That took ages. Right, here we go. So we're going to calibrate up. And let's do that, get into the cockpit view, and let's go straight onto the short final. There we go, so we're coming in. I feel like this aircraft definitely lands a little bit faster. I don't know why, but it feels like we came in a little bit faster there on spawn. But it's a little bit nicer to handle here. Now we must have a little bit of crosswind, because we seem to be tilted off a tiny bit. Here we go, so I'm going to steer up. We're going to ignore that I've totally missed the landing zone. And the E190 was definitely easier to land. Have we landed? Okay, right, we did land. That was definitely a worse landing than before. So I'm going to try and land from the exterior point of view and see how hard it is to land, because I literally, like back in the day, I used to fly like this all the time, but I have not flown an aircraft from the outside view in a while. Oh no, and we've done it. Okay, well, it's a nice little aircraft there in the sense of that it's convenient to land at small airports, so I give it to this aircraft. But the E190 definitely seems a little bit easier to be landing. I'm going to bring up our spoilers, and we're just going to try and take off again like we did previously at a slightly lower speed. And look at that rotation, great gear up. Let's just do a cheeky little turn for the fun of it and a full blast this. So there we go, that's good. Right, so in all, let's do a little bit of a conclusion, and we're going to crash, no we're not. Right, so I think that personally I'm leaning towards the E190 being better in Infinite Flight. I definitely think it's a better aircraft to be using in Infinite Flight in comparison to the E175. It also does have more livery options, which I can show you hopefully without Infinite Flight lagging out. So the E175 here, we can't scroll, but there are literally maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6 more livery options on the E190, so that wins it for today. Now, if you did enjoy, please make sure you like and subscribe. And yeah, I'll see you all in my next video. Good night.
Find your way.